Hello and welcome to today's Bitrix24 webinar, Self-Hosted Advantages. Thank you for joining today. Okay, so we'll just go through some introductions first of all. So I'm Sam Connor, I'm Sales Manager here at Interface, and we're Bitrix24 Gold Partners. So we specialize in the Bitrix24 software. We're based in New York and Hong Kong. And what we do is we offer a full range of services to help you with Bitrix24. So starting off with pre-sale support. So we can help you to evaluate Bitrix24, see if it can be a good fit for what you're trying to achieve. And if it is a good fit, we can then help with the full implementation of Bitrix24. So we can set it up exactly how you need it to work. We can then provide hosting services if you're interested in the self-hosted edition of Bitrix, which is the system that we will be focusing on today. And once the onboarding has been completed, we can provide admin and end user training, and then also ongoing dedicated support to help you get the most value out of the Bitrix24 system. Okay, so if you have potentially come to today's webinar, actually, as you are evaluating Bitrix, if you want to get a bit more understanding about what the Bitrix24 system has to offer, let's just go through some of the key aspects of the system. So essentially, Bitrix24 is a collaboration suite of well in excess of 40 different tools that you can use to help you to manage your business. Now, there's over 12 million customers around the world that are now using the Bitrix24 system, and it's available in two different editions. So we have the Bitrix24 Cloud, and then we have the Bitrix24 self-hosted solution. And what we'll be doing today is we'll be focusing on the self-hosted edition of Bitrix24. It's the most advanced solution within the Bitrix24 catalog. So that's the system we'll be focusing on today. In terms of pricing, so prices start from approximately $49 per month if you're looking at the basic cloud edition. And if you're looking at a self-hosted system, then that starts with the Business 50 edition, which is priced at $3,590. That's for the year one initial license cost. Then in year two, and also ongoing annually, you will then pay approximately 25% as a renewal fee on the license to continue to access the Bitrix24 system. So that's something important to budget for, to make sure that you need to be paying the renewal in year two and ongoing to continue accessing the self-hosted edition. Okay, and that then moves us on nicely, because so we've just seen there's a choice of cloud and self-hosted editions of Bitrix, but today we're going to be talking about the self-hosted edition, which has a number of additional benefits over the cloud product. So we'll go into detail today to look at those. But first of all, let's just take a look at the different editions of the self-hosted system. And just to explain, when we say self-hosted, it's also sometimes called on-premise edition. So it's exactly the same thing. But when we say self-hosted, it doesn't mean you have to host this on a local server inside an office. It just means it's essentially a private cloud edition of Bitrix24. So you can host this on your own private cloud instance, whether that's AWS, Google Compute, etc. You can host it on your own private cloud, or here at Interface, we can provide our hosting service for you. So there's different options. You don't need to worry about having a physical server in your office. It's not required to have a self-hosted edition of Bitrix. Okay, but let's just talk then about the different editions of Bitrix24. So essentially, the self-hosted system, there are two versions available for you. So first of all, we have the business edition. This is the most popular version of the Bitrix24 self-hosted system, and it is really the most suitable solution for most businesses. So with this, you get access to all of the additional features within the self-hosted system, such as the Helpdesk, E-Learning module, and the Extranet site. And then you've got access to all of the customization capabilities. So we can look at this in more detail shortly, but essentially completely rebrand the system. And then you've also got access to the source code. So with the business edition, you have access to all of that advanced functionality. that the self-hosted system has to offer. And in terms of the number of users, so it starts off at the Business 50 edition. So that's 50 users on the system. And it goes up to 500 users on the business edition. So as you're maybe expanding the business, if you need to upgrade, you can simply move to the next tier. But if maybe you're currently evaluating Bitrix and you're maybe close to the borderline, let's say if you've got maybe 48, 49 users, but you know you're going to grow over that, so you're not, you're going to go above the Business 50 edition, you would be better off starting on the Business 100 because you are going to pay the full license price as you upgrade through the tier. So if you're near the threshold, we would definitely recommend going for the tier up so you have that edition ready to use as you're expanding with the Bitrix24 system. Okay, and then we also have the Bitrix24 Enterprise edition. So essentially, this is the most advanced edition of the on-premise system. And so with this, it allows you to establish an unlimited number of intranet sites, because on the Enterprise edition, you have a feature called the division functionality. So you can set up as many portals as you require for all of your separate divisions on the Bitrix24 Enterprise Edition. So a really good use case for this, which we see a lot, is for franchises. If you're a franchisee and you want to have a Bitrix instance for each of your franchises, you can set them up as a separate division on the system, and they can have their own portal, essentially, of the Bitrix24 system. And with that, though, you're still able to control all of those intranets from one single global administrator panel. So you still have control over all of those separate instances. And the Enterprise Edition starts on the Business 1000, sorry, the Enterprise 1000 edition. So that's a 1000 user package. So if you are interested in that multiple division functionality, please do get in contact and we can discuss that in more detail with you. For example, a really good use case for that, we mentioned about franchises, but another example is, for example, if you're a company who operates in multiple countries, for example, you may want to have individual sites with different languages, maybe different branding for each of those different offices. So each one could have its own intranet site inside your overall Bitrix24 Enterprise system. Okay, and so for the Enterprise Edition, in terms of pricing, so that starts at the Enterprise 1000 edition, and that is $24,990 for the year one of that license. Okay, so there is a look at the different editions of the self-hosted system, but now let's move on to look at some of the key benefits that you get with a self-hosted solution of Bitrix24. Okay, so one of the main benefits of the self-hosted edition is the ability to fully customize the platform. And we will take a look at this in more detail shortly. But essentially with the business and enterprise solutions, they are full content management systems which can be customized extensively. Okay, so you have access to the source code, which we can see here. So essentially you could really customize the whole system, but also importantly, change the UI inside the system so we can clean up the system, remove modules that aren't required. So in terms of getting buy-in from your teams and your organizations, it's really important to start off when you're onboarding staff onto Bitrix to have a simplified edition of the system to make sure users find it easy to navigate around the system. That's when you'll start to get buy-in for using Bitrix. So with the self-hosted system, because we can strip functionality out of the system, it's easier to then use and get full onboarding on the platform. Okay, you can see another benefit there is branding. So included really essentially is the login page. We can strip out all of the Bitrix24 branding. So you can have your own corporate login page, you can have your logos on there. And there's also the ability to add your own domain for the site. You will also have access to a control panel. Okay, so the control panel is the area, essentially it's for your administrators. So even though this is a benefit of the self-hosted system, the majority of your users, they're not going to access the control panel. You wouldn't want them to access the control panel because this is where you can make changes to all of the modules inside Bitrix24. So modules can be configured in very advanced ways within that control panel. So if you are currently using a Bitrix24 cloud solution, then I think you'll be extremely pleased with the additional functionality that's available within that control panel. So we'll go into there and take a look at what's available. And then, as we've briefly mentioned, there is full access to the source code. So this means if the customization you want cannot be configured within the control panel, it is usually possible to do this directly in the code. So Bitrix, it's built on its own framework in PHP. So changing source code really should only be attempted if you have experience with PHP, as well as very advanced knowledge of the Bitrix24 platform itself. So it really is important to take that into consideration. Otherwise, you can break the system. So alternatively, if you do want to make changes to that source code, a partner can perform this type of customization for you. And then we have advanced integrations. Okay, so we have an API available on the self-hosted solution. The full API allows you to integrate with thousands of other web applications, and you can control the speed of those integrations. And Bitrix partners, just like ourselves, we can develop those integrations for you. So if you've got a very specific integration that you're looking to manage, either feeding information into Bitrix, or maybe it's a two-way integration, we can help to set that up for you. And then finally, the self-hosted solution has a number of extra features not found on the cloud system, such as an e-learning module and advanced analytics. And as I mentioned there, because you've got access to the source code, you can actually create custom functionality inside the system. Okay, so now we'll have a look at some of these benefits actually in more granular detail. So we mentioned one of the main reasons for choosing the self-hosted solution, it is the ability there to customize the look and the feel of the Bitrix24 system. So the site can be customized to match, first of all, your corporate look, and then the functionality can be configured to make the system more intuitive. And this is one of the key reasons businesses go for a self-hosted solution. It's not simply rebranding the product, but it's the way we can customize the UI of the system to almost simplify it for your users. So when they're starting to be onboarded, it's simplified so they can start to learn. The learning curve is shorter, and then you can start to get more value out of your system in a faster time period. So that's a key aspect to the self-hosted solution that you need to remember. But in terms of the customization capabilities, first of all, we've got styling. So many areas can be branded, and we'll have a look at this in a moment. There's the ability to edit. So any page essentially can be edited, and administrators can create custom pages using the page editor wizard. So you can add your own content pages into the system. There's navigation, which is kind of what I mentioned there around simplifying the UI. So to improve the user experience and save significant amounts of time, where trying to move through the different modules, the links in the navigation panel are fully editable. And it's actually possible to display different menu items for different sets of users. So let's say if I'm a sales rep, all I might want to see is the CRM system. Well, that's what we can do. So we could strip out all of the other modules. So when I come into the system, I just see the CRM as an example. So that's a key way we can simplify the UI. For different user roles, we can customize and clean up the menu where you're navigating through the system. It's also possible to set up customer portals. So as some of you may say, well, you can do that on the cloud system. Absolutely, you can set up an extranet site. But with the self-hosted system, there's a very big use case here of using the self-hosted solution for the customer portals, because you can invite your customers or your suppliers into a branded corporate portal. So it's got your branding on there. And then when they go into the customer portal, with the self-hosted system, you really have that extra layer of customization. So you can configure exactly how the layout of the portal is displayed to that user. You might only want very specific functionality. So for example, we recently set up a customer portal for a self-hosted edition of Bitrix for an accountancy company. They invite their clients into the system, and those clients then upload documents for the internal staff to work on. That's all they go into the self-hosted customer portal for, and it's all cleaned UI, so they only see the drive area where they upload their documents, and then the internal staff can access those documents to work on for their work. So really is the ability to customize that customer portal, which is a benefit on the self-hosted system. And then finally, all modules are customizable, and it is possible to create your own bespoke modules to perform tasks specific to your organization. So essentially, with this self-hosted edition of Bitrix, you're able to have complete control over customizations. We have a lot of clients who are on a Bitrix cloud system who want specific functionality, and I'm afraid when you're not able to do that on the cloud system, we have to move them to a self-hosted edition because we have the capability on the self-hosted system to manage those customizations. So let's take a look at some of those customizations. Okay, so you can see here, this is a login page for a self-hosted edition of Bitrix. So you can see instantly a very different UI to the Bitrix24 cloud system. So as I've mentioned, you can strip out the Bitrix24 branding. So this can be your own corporate login page for the system with your own domain here. So it's a really nice professional look to the system. And then if we go into the Bitrix system, you can see here the menu on the left-hand side. So we can, as I mentioned, strip out any features or modules that aren't required for the user role. And within here, obviously, we can set up your own logo. But a key area here is at the top. So I'm an administrator, by the way, so I have access to this feature. But this is the control panel here. Okay, so I can turn on this edit mode here on the right-hand side. And then with this, I can now start customizing the UI. So I might want to modify the menu items, for example. So I've turned on the edit mode, and now I can start creating new functionality, changing the UI, changing the name of those menu items directly inside the system. I might want to create a new section, for example. So you can see here, complete different scale of customization capability compared to the Bitrix24 cloud system. And what we'll do now then, let's just show, I mentioned earlier on how you can create your own content pages inside the system. So let's actually take a look at how we can do this. So let's say, for example, if we go into the company module here, right now we just have a sitemap. So we have links to all of the different areas of our self-hosted system. But a really common use case for new pages that are created on a self-hosted system is for creating new policy information associated for the company. So you can store all of your policy information for the organization to be able to access. So let's see how we could create a new page for adding policy information into our self-hosted system. So let's go back into our control panel. So I can click here on the control panel. Okay, and then in there, we're going to go into contents, and we want to go into this file and folders. And then we want to go into this about section, because this is the area where we're in the company module here. Okay. So what we want to do, first of all, is when we go into here, we want to add a new file. So the file is the actual page of the content that we're going to be creating. So inside here, first of all, I can give this page a title. So let's call this Policies 2023. Okay, and then we can add our text here. This is the 2023 policies page. Okay, so we've added our content. Now with this, it doesn't just have to be static text. You can add images or videos into here. So you can decide exactly how you want the information to be displayed on this page. So let's add that into here. So we've got our page with our content. Now what we need to do is we need to add a menu item into the page. So when we go into the company module, we want to have that tab at the top to be able to view that policy information. So let's now add this into here. Okay, so then we're going to go into here. Okay, so we've added that now. So we've got the menu item there. So let's now apply that and save that in the system. So we've got our tab page for the menu item, and we've also created the page where we're storing all of the content for our policies page. So let's go back into the front end of the Bitrix system. So you can see now we've got that menu item across the top for policies page, and we can go into there, and then we've got all the information for our policies page there. So you can see that functionality you can't do on the cloud system. Here on the self-hosted, we've got that really easy to use page creation tool. So you can start to create your own pages and essentially build out your own modules inside the self-hosted system. But what we can also do, if we just go back into the control panel, you can actually take this to almost a greater layer of control. So what we can also do is if we come back into the editing area, what we can then also do is you might want to set access rights on those different pages. So let's say here, for example, on that policies page, we might actually say we want to set a condition. So only have this accessible for certain user groups or roles. So we might say, for example, only people within our, let's say, our HR team are able to access that policies page right now while we're updating it and editing it with additional information. But then we might then add more user groups who are then able to access that page. So you can set very granular permissions as you're creating all of these custom areas inside the self-hosted edition. So it's something to think about. You might want to create your own pages, but then control who is able to access that information inside the system. And like I say, this is in the control panel, which is only available on the self-hosted system. Okay, so let's look at how we can create our own pages. So we've seen how we can have your own custom branded login page. We've now seen how we can create our own pages when we're also inside the Bitrix24 system. So you're starting to see how advanced this is compared to the cloud edition of Bitrix, how customizable the whole system in the UI is for our self-hosted edition. Okay, so a question that's come in there is, can the colors of the templates be changed? So yes, if you're talking here about the background, then absolutely. I mean, this can be done on both the cloud and the self-hosted system. So you can change the background like so. Okay, so all you do is go to your profile and go into the theme area here, and that will then customize for you inside the system. So that's achievable on both cloud and self-hosted. But if you want your own branded login page, then you would need a self-hosted edition of Bitrix. And now moving on to talk about some of those customizations in more detail. We mentioned about how you can have an extranet site. So essentially like a customer portal where you can invite your customers onto the system, or it could be suppliers, for example, you need to collaborate with the self-hosted system. Then you can have your own corporate login page where the client, for example, would log into. And that's just so professional looking. So you could have your own corporate branding on here. So the customers coming here, they're going to log into the system. And then this is what the extranet site can look like here. So you can see here, the login, once they're inside the actual extranet page, it's very different for the client. So with the self-hosted system, we can customize the menu items here. Okay, so you might only want to show very specific functionality on the customer portal. So we can do that inside here. We can change here. We've got some links, for example, to different areas of the system. So you can customize here the widgets as well that are displayed for our customers on the system. So we've got those different banners here with widgets, and also the URL, of course. So here we've got our demo.interface extranet site that could have your corporate domain applied to it as well. And then like I've shown you there, you could have external links to other sites. So it's a lot more customizable than what you can do with the Bitrix24 branded extranet site. Okay. So that is a look at how we can customize the Bitrix24 system. Obviously, if there are any other questions as we're going through these different areas of functionality, please do add them into the question box and we can continue to run through those questions during today's intervals. Okay, so moving on to look now at some of the advanced features only available on the self-hosted edition. So essentially all of the features you've seen on the cloud system, they're available on the self-hosted edition as well. But with the self-hosted, there is some additional functionality. So first of all, we have a help desk module. So a help desk is a tool to allow you to manage customer support inquiries. So customers log their inquiries on a portal, and then the help desk staff process those tickets according to predefined rules. So what we'll do is let's take a look at the native help desk system inside the Bitrix24 application. Okay, so let's go back into our Bitrix system here. So first of all, in terms of how we can set up our help desk system, okay, so there are 3 different ways that clients essentially can submit support tickets. So let's just have a look first of all at the help desk module. So you go into the control panel, first of all, then we go into the services area, and then we can see here the help desk module. So to be clear, with the native help desk module on the self-hosted system, the help desk system, it's in the back end, it's in the control panel, where your support staff will then manage all of those support tickets. And there's 3 different ways that you can set to create tickets inside this help desk module. So the first way is by connecting mailboxes. Okay, so you can connect mailboxes in Bitrix, and then what we can do is we can set up rules on those mailboxes. So let's say if an email comes into a support at email mailbox, you can see here we can create a rule. So we can then automatically create a ticket inside the tech support help desk. Okay, so email comes into that mailbox, that can then create a new help desk ticket inside the help desk system here. So we can see all of the tickets that are being worked on. You can create filters as well to drill down into maybe specific categories of tickets. And then if we go into a ticket, you can see all of the dialogue that has taken place on that ticket inside the system. So I can see here, for example, the conversations that have taken place, and you can turn on the answer mode to then actually respond again to the ticket. Now, inside here, you can also set up SLAs. So you might have different tiers of SLAs for how quickly tickets needed to be answered and to be responded to. So you can manage that through here as well. So that was one way of creating a ticket. So connecting a mailbox and then putting a rule on that mailbox in the system. The other way is by using the external customer portal. So a client can log in here. They can see all of the tickets that are being worked on, and they can drill down into those tickets to see the latest communication. And so through here on the customer portal, they could create a new ticket, which would then go into the system. Or there's also the support wizard. So using the support wizard, it can essentially, it's the same process, but essentially there can be several questions that are asked. So it can essentially get more information about the potential issue before the ticket is submitted. Okay, so that is a look there at the help desk system inside the self-hosted edition of Bitrix24. Now, what we have as well, so our team here at Interface, is we have also built our own help desk system for the self-hosted edition of Bitrix24. So inside our help desk system, essentially this is on the front end of the Bitrix24 system. So what we're able to do here is, again, you can manage help desk tickets through a customizable workflow. So inside your help desk system that we have for the self-hosted edition, you can create your stages that you progress your support tickets through, first of all. So inside here, you can completely customize the stages and how that flow works for your help desk system. And help desk tickets here can be triggered in several different ways. Okay, so first of all, you can connect a mailbox, and when an email comes in, that will then automatically create a ticket inside the help desk system. You can also submit a web form, and also a help desk agent can manually create a new ticket inside the system here. Now, with our help desk module, so if I just click into the ticket here, you can see all of the information about the tickets. And any emails that are associated with the ticket, you can see those inside the system here, and you can reply to those. And all of that email communication is saved inside the help desk module. A key benefit of our help desk plugin for the self-hosted system is if we go to our contacts record, then inside a customer's record, you can link all of those help desk tickets. So you can't do this with the standard help desk module in Bitrix. But with our system here, I can now go into the customer's page and I can see all of the help desk tickets that are connected to the client. And I can click into those and view all of the information. So you have complete connection between the help desk module and the CRM system to view all of those tickets directly through the client's page inside the CRM system. Okay, so if you are interested in our help desk module, please do contact us, sales@interface.com, and one of our team will be happy to discuss this in more detail with you. So it's a completely seamless integration between the help desk module and the CRM system. Okay, so just moving on now to look at some of the other additional functionality that you have with the self-hosted system is the e-learning module. So essentially, the e-learning module, it allows you to create, it's essentially a set of tools that allows you to train your employees. So courses can be created and staff members can then be set tests to demonstrate their knowledge in a particular subject area. So it is possible to actually also configure on the profile page of the user to show their tests as badges. So when they're completed, they could have a badge on their profile page. So if we go into one of our courses, for example, then inside here, this is where we can start to set up all of the information about the courses. So this is essentially in the back end is where we're going to create all of the content for the courses. And then if we go into the front end here, if we go into the customer portal, I can then see, for example, we might assign courses to our clients, for example, not just internal staff. I can then see all of my courses. So here I've got my health and safety course. So I can click on this and then I can go through the course inside the system here. So I can go through, review all of the information. And then once I've gone through all of the information, all of the videos, I can then reinforce my knowledge, okay, by taking this course. So I'm going to answer the questions. Okay, so then once that's been completed, I can then view my test results, and you can set a minimum threshold for what is acceptable before you're able to pass a course on the system. So you might want to have very, high thresholds to make sure people have learned from the course and re-engaged their learning by taking those tests. So you can set those inside the system. And another benefit of the self-hosted edition, it is the advanced functionality as well. So we can set up advanced reports inside the control panel. So all of the data essentially from the self-hosted system, it feeds into your control panel. So you can set up advanced reports inside your Bitrix self-hosted system. Okay, so that is a look there at some of the additional functionality that we have on the self-hosted edition of Bitrix. Obviously, if you have any questions about those capabilities, then please do add them into the question box. Okay, and then moving on there, we're looking at integrations. And really, you say this is the third really important benefit of a self-hosted system. It is the ability to create advanced integrations. So as we've seen there, we can set up mailboxes, and on those mailboxes, we can create rules which could trigger the creation of a help desk ticket, for example. We've also got the full API. So Bitrix includes the API, which allows you to integrate with other web services. It could be integrating with your finance system, for example. And you can essentially, with the API on the self-hosted system, you can control the actual integration. So how often that integration takes place. Is this a one-way or a two-way integration? You have a lot more control over that integration work. And then also we can create advanced integrations as well with the standard functionality. So for example, through web forms, you might want that to generate a lead in the system, but then that could also trigger another workflow within Bitrix, or it could create a workflow to an external application. So if you are thinking of integrating Bitrix with an external system, then the self-hosted system is essentially where you want to be looking to have that advanced functionality to manage the integration. Okay, so moving on to look at some of the hosting options. So you have a choice to either host in-house, or you could use a partner hosting service as well. So for self-hosting, we can provide a virtual appliance, which is a free application that allows Bitrix to run in a pre-configured and fully secured virtual environment. So this saves time on product installation and maintenance, and it also improves overall system performance. But alternatively, Bitrix can be hosted and managed by a partner such as ourselves. So we can host the self-hosted system for you. And this is what we class as a dedicated cloud solution. Now, some of the benefits of partner hosting include the server performance. It's all managed by ourselves. So you don't need to have your own in-house IT team who need to be managing that server and all of the technicalities of performance. The server is optimized for speed and it's very scalable. So partners ensure your data is secure and fully backed up. And a really important benefit of partner hosting is that scalability. Projects can be scaled without needing to invest in complete new hardware or further hardware for your new project. We can scale this as and when required for your Bitrix24 project. So essentially, partners are specialists in managing servers, and partner hosting saves you time, and essentially it will provide you with peace of mind. Okay, so moving on to discuss pricing. So if you are really interested in a self-hosted edition of Bitrix24, we need to be discussing the pricing and what you need to budget for the project. So essentially starting off with the license. So as we mentioned, the self-hosted system, it starts on the Business 50 edition, and that license is priced at $3,590 in year one. Then in year two and ongoing annually, you're going to pay approximately 25% of that original license fee as a renewal to continue accessing the system. So it is a subscription service. So that will be around $897.50 in year two. You need to consider partner hosting. So that can cost anywhere from $2,250 starting for 100 gig of hosting. And obviously that will scale if you want to add additional spec to the hosting there. Then you need to consider the customization and integrations as well. So if you're going to want a lot of advanced customization, that will need to be done correctly. And we and our team here at Interface, we have spent a significant amount of time building development tools that speeds up the actual ability to create those customizations. So we can build those customizations in a faster and quicker time period. So you can then start to get value out of your Bitrix system in a shorter time period. So that's something to really take into consideration. And it's really critical that you get training and premium support. We would not recommend moving forward with a project, a self-hosted edition of Bitrix, if you did not have training and ongoing dedicated support in place. So you need to take all of these different pieces into consideration when you're budgeting for your self-hosted projects. And we can discuss that with you and outline exactly what the costs would be in more detail. Okay, so in summary, today's Self-Hosted Advantages webinar, we've seen essentially it really helped you see how completely customizable the self-hosted edition of Bitrix is. From branding, removing the Bitrix branding, having your own corporate login page, the ability to customize and clean out the UI, being able to add your own content and pages to the system. It is the most advanced edition of Bitrix, and you can see why with the ability to customize the system. We also have the advanced integrations such as mailboxes and creating rules to create helpdesk tickets, and also the ability to control any integrations between other systems as well. And then we've also got the extra functionality. So around the helpdesk system, e-learning module, and the additional functionality you can build by having access to the source code to create your own customizations. Okay, so here are a selection of our up and coming webinars. We're here at 11 a.m. Eastern Time every other Tuesday. You can register for our webinars here at interface.com/webinars. And if you have any questions in the meantime, you can contact us, sales@interface.com, and one of our team will be happy to discuss your requirements and needs in more detail. Okay, well, thank you very much for your time today. Bye for now.